You're listening to the Drummer Daily Podcast, the only daily podcast dedicated just to drummers. Go to my website at danielhadaway.com. Hey there. Welcome back again. I have got a treat for you today. Well, it's a treat for me at least. I don't know. It's funny. We're getting close to Christmas time here, at least when I'm recording this, and my wife was like, well, first, I'm a terrible person to shop for. I don't really ever think about things that I want. I don't keep a running list in my head. So she actually my wife made me create a Pinterest board just so I could start adding things because I'm impossible to shop for. Not because I'm picky, but or maybe my wife would say I am, but not because I'm picky, but because I just, for whatever reason in my own head, I don't have the thought, oh, I would like to have that someday very often. And it's either like almost kind of for me, like if I become aware of a cool piece of drum gear or whatever, at the moment I'm like, am I going to buy that or not? And if I'm going to buy it, I go ahead and buy it. And if I'm not, I kind of let it pass through my brain and I don't think about it anymore. So, it can be tough, and what I should do and what I'm starting to do now is if I see something that's like, oh, that's cool, but I'm not going to buy that right now, I'll put it on my Pinterest board so at least some other people have an idea of a gift to get me. But my wife was like, you should do a podcast all about some cool drum gift ideas. And so I thought I would share with you a few of my favorite things, a few of my favorite drum related things. And my goal with this was a couple of things. One was, I want anything that I share with you to not be super expensive, and so my goal was anything. Most of these are $100 or less. I believe almost all of these others, maybe a couple of exceptions, but I want these to be $100 or less. But I also thought that maybe either if you're someone listening to if you're someone who maybe you're buying something for another drummer, or you are not a drummer and you happen to be listening to this, but you'd like to get a gift for a drummer, these are some good ideas. But also, let's say a lot of times drummers, we get gift cards to music stores or Amazon or whatever, and or even like Visa gift cards or whatever. So if you get a gift card and you're like, what would be something cool drum related that I could get this year with my gift card? These are a few ideas. So these are in no particular order. These are just 9 things that most of these I've used or have, and I'm going to share them with you. So by the way, before I get started, if you don't feel like you have to take notes on this, if you go, I have show notes for this episode that have links to every one of these products so that you can make it easy for you to go check all these out. And the links are at danielhadaway.com/gifts. So /GIFTS. So like Christmas gifts. Anyway, check it out, danielhadaway.com/gifts, and you can see links to all these. Okay, so first thing is a company that I've played some of their products before, but they make a lot of really cool things. Their name is Index Drums. Now, a couple of cool things they have. They make a thing called a cajon snare. So it's a snare drum, but it's made out of all wood. So it looks kind of like the same way a cajon is structured. I actually used this on a couple of All Sons and Daughters tours and got tons of questions about it every night. They're really awesome if you play them with brushes or like the blast sticks kind of things, like the plastic hot rod type things. They're really cool. But they also make a couple of other crazy things like, so they make the index snare, but they actually make these things called Forest King drum heads, and they are wooden drum heads. Now, I have not played the wooden drum heads, but I've seen samples, and they're pretty awesome. They also make these things called rattle cans that are shakers that are made out of old spray paint cans. I have one of those, and they're awesome. And they make these things called Doom Tech boxes, which are kind of like stomp boxes, but you can play them with your hands. They make just all kinds of insanely awesome things. So go to Index Drums and check that out. They're really cool, and I love creative stuff like that. So check that out. Second thing, another thing that I've used on tour a lot and got questions about so much is a stomp box that I use. It's by a company called Bronco Boxes. And I know other companies make stomp boxes like this, but Bronco boxes are handmade here in the U.S. They're made, you can get them, I think you can get them made to order, so there's all different kinds of license plates. But this is by far the best sounding stomp box I've ever used, or ever seen, ever experienced. People lose their minds over this thing, and they are really cool. I think in all sons and daughters, I think between all of us, we might have 4 or 5 of these things. They're just the coolest things. They're so durable. They're lightweight. You can pack them up in a suitcase. For a long time, I was traveling just playing a Bronco box and that index snare that I talked about in one cymbal, and I was flying with all my gear in a suitcase. It was amazing. So Bronco boxes, amazing, amazing, amazing stomp boxes. And if you can get them put through a PA where the sound guy knows what he's doing, and you're running it with subwoofers and stuff in the sound system, it just takes it to another level. It's amazing. All right, so Bronco boxes. The next thing is, this is another tool that I have. It's called TuneBot, and you might have heard of this, but it is a device that helps you tune your drums. Now, most other drum tuners rely on either telling you what the tension of the lugs are as you tighten them, almost like a torque wrench would, like it feels the tension on the lugs. And I don't like that because lugs can get rusty, or tension rods can get rusty. The tension on an actual turning a drum key is very subjective. Your hand can get tired while you're tuning a drum, and it would feel different. And it's not a very good way of tuning. Other tuners they measure the tension on the head, which is better, but it doesn't account for inconsistencies in manufacturing of drum heads. Even in today's modern manufacturing methods, it doesn't always work out. So the TuneBot is cool because it's like a guitar tuner. You put it on your drum, and it actually listens with a microphone to the frequencies coming out of each lug as you move around the drum, and get your drums in tune. The cool thing is they have on their website, if you have a TuneBot on their website, they have a way of you putting in what size drum you have and what kind of tuning you'd like to do, like you want low, medium, or high, and how you like to tune your drums and it gives you frequencies on the TuneBot that you can use to tune your drums. So that is really cool. And like I said, I love the TuneBot because what I'll do is I'll get a drum as close to in tune as I can by ear, doing it myself. But then, especially in the studio, when you want it to be pitch perfect, or let's say you hit really hard and you're playing in the studio, and in between takes, you want to make sure you can get back to that same tuning again. If a drum goes out of tune, this is a perfect tool for that. So the TuneBot is awesome. All right, now the next item is something that I don't have this exact model, but I actually have a homemade version, and you can make your own homemade version, but I like this because it's a little bit better and well made. This one is called the Meinl Cymbal Bacon Sizzler. Yes, it's got bacon in the title, but it's just one of those little things that makes your cymbal sound like it's got rivets in it, even when it doesn't. So it's a little ring that almost looks like a bead necklace that hangs off of it, and you put that ring over the center part of your cymbal. And it hangs down, and those beads dangle and sit on your cymbal, and when you hit the cymbal, it sizzles like it has rivets in it. I made one out of an old necklace, but I like this. The ones you can get, if you buy one, the beads are a little bigger than what I have on mine, at least that I've made. And I like the fact that this is built with a ring on the end, so it's really easy to take on and off of your cymbal. But there's a lot of different companies that make these. I just like this one because I like the style of the ring on this. I feel like it's going to be pretty easy to take on and off. So this one's made by Meinl, but I think ProMark makes one, and a ton of other companies make them. And if you go to a pretty decent music store or drum shop, they should probably have some of these in stock. So check that out. And those are I didn't mention the prices on some of these, but TuneBot I think is around $100, maybe a little less. This cymbal sizzler is $8 or $9, so that's a super cheap gift idea, stocking stuffer kind of idea. The next thing is an app for the iPad, iPhone, and Android. It's my favorite. It's the click track that I use on stage all the time. You can do set lists. It's called Tempo Advance, and there's also just a basic one called Tempo that they make as well. And you can, like I said, it's for iOS and Android, but it is a great metronome. What I love about it is you can change accent patterns, you can change the sound of the click track, you can even pick your own color scheme. But my favorite thing is that you can create set lists and copy songs between set lists. So I love this app because I'll put our whole set list for shows or for church in this app and have them in order. And so I know what the songs are in order, but I also have an easy to use click track. Another cool feature I like about it is that it is instantly responsive. So the second you hit play on the click track, that first click comes out, which for me and the musicians I play with, transitions are really important between songs. And sometimes sometimes a guitar player will start playing a song and I need to start the click track in time with a other musician. So this click track is great for that. So like I said, it's called Tempo Advance. It's by a company called Frozen Ape. And I think this app might be like $5. There's a free version, I believe, or it might be $1 or $2 if you get the basic version, and then $5 for the more advanced one. Honestly, I like it so much that I would pay $10 or $15 for it, or $20. But if you happen to have gotten like an iTunes gift card or something like that for Christmas, this is a great option for that. All right, next is Lowboy custom beaters. Now you've probably seen these. They are these cool looking, you can get them custom painted bass drum beaters. Now, disclaimer on this. First thing, I don't have one of these. I have used one of these. I will say that these beaters are great bass drum beaters. But if you are happy with your current bass drum beater, these aren't going to be so much noticeably better or different that you're going to be happy that you switched. This is a great gift idea for another drummer because it's cool. They're custom painted. You can pick a paint job and everything. And also, if I needed a new bass drum beater, I would go for these. I have played these. I actually played a cool one that A&F had, like a prototype that had a little extra weight up in the bass drum beater, which is how I prefer to have my bass drum beater. So they're there, but I think these guys are like $40, $50, maybe $70 if you get, depending on what kind of paint job you pick out. But they're really cool and stylish, and they're a fun gift to have. Like if you like customizing the way things look on your kit, or you're buying a gift for somebody else, this is a really cool option, and I still love them. The next thing, and this is something that I know many drummers have already experienced, but Big Fat Snare Drum. This is a product that you can put on your snare drum. It looks like an extra flat drum head that you put on your snare drum, but it makes the sound of your drum really fat and lowers the pitch. And they have a lot of different types of products now. They don't just have one item. They have the Big Fat Snare Drum, which is the original that makes your head thicker. They have a donut, it has the middle cut out. So that you can get a little more normal feel when you play. They have ones with tambourine jingles built in. They have just all kinds of crazy different sizes, different things. But they're really fun to put on your drums. And I feel like every drummer should maybe have this in their arsenal if it ever comes up. I always have it on stage with me off to the side, especially like in places where I'm not sure where the music's going to go, like if I'm playing at church and they might add a song in that I'm not expecting and I want that sound, I can throw that on there real quick. So Big Fat Snare Drum. And like I said, all these links are on danielhadaway.com/gifts. All right, the next one is the snare weight. Now, again, they make a lot of different products, but I actually use a product called the M80 by Snare Weight. And Snare Weight is a line of products that are made to muffle drums, but they rest on top of your drums. Some of them have leather, some of them are made out of brass, and they're really heavy. But the cool thing about Snare Weights, their original Snare Weight, is that it's like almost a pound. It's a heavy weight that it not only muffles your drum, but it adds weight. And the cool thing about adding weight to a snare drum is that it actually adds some like natural compression, like you're running your snare drum sound through a compressor, but it does it naturally. And it also gives you a little more give on the center, how far out from the center of the drum you can hit and not get too much ring. It adds that. But they have a lot of different products and they're so cool. So if you've never heard of Snare Weight, go to their website and at least just kind of explore what they've got, because there's lots of cool things. And again, these range all the way in price from, I think the M80s that I use are only like $15 and they're fantastic. And then the Snare Weights go up in price from there. The brass ones do. But check that out because they're really cool. All right, and one last item. Now, disclaimer on this as well. I actually have a lot of these, more than one of these, but this is something that really is only going to play in if you are maybe recording at home your drums, or if you are practicing with in-ear monitors and you like to mic up your drums. But this is the Shure SM57, the standard 57 microphone. This microphone by far is the most used probably snare drum mic by far that exists in history, and is still used. There's nothing that's been better. I don't think. There's nothing that's been, no one's found something that's like, oh, this is, more versatile and better. I think it's studio-wise, I think you're not a recording studio if you don't have a box of SM57s just sitting around ready to be used on everything. You can use them on guitar cabinets and other things, but they work really great on snare drums. I actually like them on rack toms as well. I've seen guys use them on hi-hats before in different situations. Geek mics, that you put off in front or on the side of the drums. Room mics. There's all kind of other ways people can use SM57s, but 57s are just fantastic. And the retail price on these is, from Shure themselves, is $99. But pretty much every retailer, if you buy them new, you can get them for around $89 or maybe even less. I've gone to some studio sales and looked online and stuff at Craigslist. You can get them for $50 if you keep your eye open. They're so cheap. But the crazy thing is, they're cheap, but that doesn't mean that they're not great quality and they don't do the job amazingly. And like I said, I have a couple that I put on my snare, top and bottom, and I don't want a different mic for my snare drum. If I upgrade microphones, I'm not going to upgrade these. These are what I want. And virtually every studio session that I've played on through the years uses 57s. Every professional sound environment that I've been in, playing live, 57s again are the microphone of choice. So there you go. I know this episode is probably a little longer than most, and it's funny because I claim not to be a gear guy and not really into gear, but I think it's because I'm really content with the gear that I have. Like I said before, I don't think about things I want a lot. I'm just very happy with what I have, and so I will say two things. One, I guess I am a gear guy, and these are a lot of fun things. Things don't have to be expensive to be enjoyed on the drums. There's lots of inexpensive, fun ways you can mess with your sound and have fun and get inspired to play different ways by changing your sound. The second thing is this. If you can't afford any of these or are not going to get any of these, I want to encourage you to mess around with what you do have. Find different ways of tuning the drums that you do have or the heads that you're using. Find different ways of holding those drumsticks you've got. Look for inspiration with what you have. Find ways to be content with what you have. We don't, I know that drummers, like any musicians, can be consumerist driven and want to buy more stuff to improve their sound. But I want to encourage you that there's a lot of amazing drummers who grew up not having drums at all and did with what they have. And so if you've got anything to play on at all, you're doing better than most of the world. So I want to encourage us all to be happy with what we have, even if it's not the best in the world, the most professional, highest quality, or whatever it is. Be happy with what we have and be thankful for what we have on this Christmas holiday season. So that's it for today. Like I said, danielhadaway.com/gifts is where you can find links to all of these products. I'm not making any money off of any of these. I don't have affiliate links or anything like that. These are just links to places where you can find these products and make it easy for you. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know by sending me an email or go to my website, let me know, or on social media, let me know what you think of this. I hope this will be useful for you, and we will talk again very soon. Bye-bye.